Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff is actually bad news for the couple. Beth and Rip's Yellowstone story, continuing in their own spinoff, could prove bad news for the couple. Kelly Reilly and Cole Hauser's Beth and Rip characters are a staple of the Yellowstone cast, emerging as the leads of the neo-western after Kevin Costner's Yellowstone exit. Since day one, Beth and Rip have been with us, fighting alongside John Dutton as his most loyal stewards. After John Dutton's death, just days before the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, a report prematurely confirmed that Beth and Rip's story would continue, with Reilly and Hauser leading an offshoot of the flagship. The ending of Yellowstone Season 5 allowed Beth and Rip to move on from protecting John Dutton's legacy when Case sold the family's heirloom ranch to the Broken Rock tribe. With the Duttons fulfilling a forgotten promise, Case and Beth stepped away from their family's 7-generation homestead and moved on, respectively. Case settled at East Camp with Tate and Monica near the reservation, and Beth and Rip also started a new beginning that included their adopted son, Carter. Now that the Loveford story will continue outside the flagship, there's one thing we know for sure about what's next for them. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Beth tells her husband that she bought a ranch in Dillon, Montana. Beth notes that the little house and big barn are why she chose the homestead, noting its irrigated hay meadows where Rip can earn a living managing about 600 pairs of cattle. The end of the episode shows Beth and Rip moving onto their new ranch satisfyingly, with Beth looking out across its thousands of acres into the mountains. If Beth and Rip's story ended with the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, their lives would forever be frozen at that moment in time. Therefore, if Yellowstone ended with that scene of Beth, Rip, and Carter, it would preserve the family's happily hard-earned ever after. While Rip notes that the ranch, located 40 miles west of Dillon, won't be very active, Beth notes that the property's isolation aligns with her desire to live without tourists wandering in and out of her life. Lloyd notes that the area Beth chose for their homestead experiences brutal winters and bug-infested summers, but perhaps we could imagine that Beth will get an expensive fur coat and somehow outsmart the bugs like she's outsmarted everyone else. Beth and Rip's story continuation will inevitably disrupt the family's happy ending, considering they will need to experience some form of conflict to tell a compelling story. The continuation of the characters means that Beth and Rip will face new hardships, which will likely extend beyond the harsh winters and frustrating summers they endure. While the new Dutton-Wheeler ranch pales compared to the Yellowstone, which comprises hundreds of thousands of acres, Beth and Rip, maintaining 7,000 acres of private land and 20,000 acres of BLM land, will come with corresponding hurdles. While Beth and Rip's story could go any direction in the couple's Yellowstone spinoff, Taylor Sheridan's Season 5 finale shut down one possibility. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Yellowstone executive producer Christina Voros confirmed that Beth and Rip's story could be bad news for the couple, saying, "I think he has left the door wide open for any number of stories to come out of that romance, and because people are in love with them, I think an audience would be interested in seeing whatever story that would become. Because ultimately, when you have interesting, complicated characters, especially those with dark secrets, something interesting is going to happen. And I think what he has done with the way he ends the show, it could be the end of the fairy tale, or it could be the beginning of another tragedy. You just don't know." Voros' comments imply that Beth and Rip's complex backgrounds may complicate the simplicity of their future, suggesting that happily ever after is a simplified notion for characters like Beth and Rip. Voros directly implied that Beth and Rip's Yellowstone story could be the beginning of another Dutton tragedy. Her take on the couple's Yellowstone fate is that Yellowstone screenwriter Taylor Sheridan set up Beth and Rip's conclusion so that their story could go in either direction, equally inclined to evolve into a fairy tale as it is to end in disaster. The announcement of a Yellowstone spinoff centered on Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler has sent shockwaves through the show's fervent fan base. On the surface, this seems like a dream come true, an opportunity to delve deeper into the lives of two of the most compelling characters in modern television. However, while the spinoff might offer fans more of the fiery drama and heartfelt moments they crave, it could spell bad news for Beth and Rip as a couple. Here's why this extension of their story might not be the blessing it appears to be. The weight of expanded expectations. Beth and Rip have captivated audiences with their tumultuous love story, a relationship forged in pain, passion, and resilience. In the main Yellowstone series, their story is intricately woven into the larger tapestry of the Dutton family's fight for survival. Their moments together, though intense and unforgettable, are often tempered by the broader stakes of the family's ranching empire. A spinoff focused exclusively on Beth and Rip risks isolating their dynamic from this context. Without the high-stakes backdrop of the Yellowstone ranch, their relationship could lose some of its edge. The drama that keeps viewers hooked might become diluted or forced, as writers struggle to create new conflicts without repeating old patterns or venturing into territory that feels unnatural for the characters. The danger of overexposure. Beth and Rip thrive in the doses provided by Yellowstone's ensemble format. Their fiery exchanges and tender moments stand out because they're interspersed with the show's broader narrative. A spinoff risks overexposing their relationship, leaving audiences desensitized to the very elements that made it special. Think about other spinoffs that have faltered under the weight of their lead's popularity. Focusing too intensely on a single storyline can unravel the magic of a character or relationship. In Beth and Rip's case, their charm lies in the balance between their individual arcs and their shared journey. Stripping away this balance could inadvertently undermine the character's depth and appeal. The strain of manufactured conflict. One of the hallmarks of Beth and Rip's love is their steadfast loyalty to each other. They've already endured more trials than most couples face in a lifetime. A spinoff, however, will inevitably require new conflicts to keep the narrative engaging. The danger lies in manufacturing drama that feels out of character or contrived. Would the writers introduce external threats to their relationship? Or worse, would they create internal fractures that contradict the solid foundation established in Yellowstone? Either approach could alienate fans who cherish the couple's hard-won stability. Conflict for the sake of drama risks undoing the growth and healing Beth and Rip have achieved together. A shadow over happily ever after. Part of the appeal of Beth and Rip's story is the sense that they've finally found their version of happily ever after. Their love is a sanctuary amidst the chaos of the Dutton family's battles. A spinoff inherently disrupts this equilibrium. By its very nature, a new series would require upheaval, whether through external challenges, internal strife, or a combination of both. This disruption could taint the satisfaction fans feel in seeing Beth and Rip achieve a measure of peace. Instead of celebrating their journey, viewers might find themselves mourning the unraveling of what once felt like an unshakable bond. The risk of diverging from Yellowstone's legacy. Yellowstone has set a high bar for storytelling, blending breathtaking landscapes, complex characters, and intricate plots. A spinoff focused solely on Beth and Rip would need to uphold this legacy while carving out its own identity. This is no small feat. The danger lies in the spinoff's potential to deviate too far from Yellowstone's tone and style. A show that leans too heavily on melodrama or romance might alienate fans who expect the gritty realism and high stakes of the original series. Conversely, a spinoff that mirrors Yellowstone too closely risks feeling redundant. Striking the right balance will be a delicate and potentially elusive task. The opportunity cost of a narrow focus. While Beth and Rip's story is undeniably compelling, Focusing an entire series on them means sidelining other rich narrative possibilities. Yellowstone's strength lies in its ensemble cast and the interplay of various storylines. A spin-off centered on just 2 characters could feel limiting by comparison. Moreover, expanding Beth and Rip's story might detract from the intrigue of their roles in the main series. Their presence in Yellowstone is already deeply impactful. Pulling them into a standalone narrative could dilute their significance in the overarching saga.